13 years ago, today, I uploaded a video on my channel called The Dungeon of Drosnot. This was one of my narrated solo adventures where the people who watch can leave comments and influence things. It's, kind of interactive to a degree. By that point, I'd already done a number of narrated solo adventures, and this was to be my next, great one. And there was Derivar Tanbrow, the Dwarven Bard, and Crag, the Magpie, a half-orc barbarian with these claw blade weapons.
And Scrap, a kobold rogue.
When they went into this dungeon called Drosnot, and they each had their own reasons for going into it, and they were trying to find a magic item. It was very atmospheric with the music, and I made these hand-drawn maps and would take photos of the encounters and the dungeon exploration as they played out, narrating the whole thing. It was all great until after a few episodes, I stopped. Unfortunately, my relationship with my girlfriend had experienced a number of problems and deteriorated, and we went through a horrendous breakup. Now, I say unfortunately, but if that breakup hadn't have happened, I wouldn't be where I'm at today with my wife and children that I have today. So funny how that works out. So this breakup phased me really bad, and I just stopped the Dungeon of Drosnot. In fact, I stopped all the things I was doing on my channel and started experimenting with a vastly different style of video for a chapter. But it always bugged me that the Dungeon of Drosnot just got left incomplete and it just fizzled out. Now, this sort of thing is actually pretty common. There are plenty of instances where in the middle of an adventure, the players just stop playing it. They never reach the conclusion, or even entire campaigns that have been going for a while fizzle out. So is that okay, or is that a bad thing, or is that a good thing? Is that just the nature of this type of game and the nature of human interactions? Well, that deserves some thought. Something else happened around this same time 13 years ago. Something that has kind of an echo with the demise of the Dungeon of Drosnot. I had this group, a really cool poetry and prose group that would meet once a month at my apartment, and we get together, a group of people. We would all read poems and short stories and things that we had written or written by other people, and we'd kind of go in a circle, and then we'd have just a party after that at my place. It was called Poets on Perry Street, and I really looked forward to it every month, and a lot of people in the group looked forward to it every month. And people would bring food and drinks and musical instruments, and it was just a really cool bardic hangout night. After Poets on Perry Street had gone on for a while, a couple of the other people in the group said they wanted to have it at their apartment on the next month, so we did their apartment, and then someone else's apartment, and someone else's house, and it eventually got into this rotation. But then around this time, 13 years ago, things started petering out a little bit with Poets on Perry Street, and a lot less people started coming to the monthly get-togethers. And then some of the core people of the group said to me that they wanted to take a break for a while since things had slowed down, so people could kind of, recollect themselves, and then we would get back together after we had all, taken the break that we needed, apparently. And I told them, actually, we need to do the opposite of that. If we really want this to continue, then we have to keep going. If we take a break now, while we're at a low point, things are going to completely fall apart. The others didn't agree with me, and a couple of them even got irritated that I contradicted their wishes. And then Poets on Perry Street did end up taking its break, and it collapsed. The whole thing fell apart, and we stopped getting together. This even happened to the first D&D campaign that I ever played in. Way back in 2004, I want to say, was the first time I properly played D&D. It was 3E, and where I fully learned the rules and had books and played a long form campaign instead of just little dabblings I had done prior to that. I was loving the campaign. I was loving my elf druid character that I was playing. And then after a few months, the DM said, he was really busy and he had some, various things going on in his life, some challenges, and, couldn't meet every week and wanted to kind of take a little break. And then it just petered out, just fizzled, and we never got to see the conclusion of that. Hey guys, I want to take a second to tell you about my upcoming book, Gauntlet Runner. It is a D&D campaign setting. It's in a style that I call Mythic Doom. So it pays respect to the old school in that the danger level is high and you really need to use cleverness and keep your wits about you, but it's modern as well. It really plays into the strengths of 5e, which there are many. So it's a bit grittier than mainstream D&D. It's also higher adrenaline than just typical D&D in general. The way the dungeons are designed is there's a sense of urgency. Like you might even be on a real world timer and something dire will occur if that runs out. If you attempt to rest outside of a sanctuary, monsters attack, so you can't just take these endless rests whenever you want. If I had to compare it to something, it would be like Gladiator meets Dark Souls. It's just very, very dynamic. It's master crafted dungeons, subclasses, items, spells, feats. You play as a runner competing in deadly dungeon trials in Bazagon, City of Mazes. And you can play it as a standard campaign, or you can play it as a competition between players. You can do squad runs or solo runs. There's scoring, so you can do D&D in a competitive style. There's going to be a big Kickstarter to launch Gauntlet Runner in the very near future, so check out the link down in the pinned comment. You'll be able to learn more about it there, and pre-launch you can even get access to some exclusive bonus rewards, like an exclusive dungeon that's just for the early supporters. So go have a look and get ready to enter the gauntlet. Now, on the flip side of things, back in 2008, literally the day the 4 ebooks released, I started a campaign called Heroes of Verland. We went on to play that campaign for 2 years, playing it twice a week. And let me tell you, there was a big stretch in the middle of that campaign and towards the later part that we were really feeling kind of burnt out or kind of strained. We had gone through so many combat encounters over and over, and 4E was a bit sloggy with these same characters and been playing this for so long. But I had made a decision, I had made a commitment that I was going to see it through to its completion, that there was something at the end of this campaign that would be worth our playing through. And because I stuck it out, and because my whole group stuck it out, and we kept going and we didn't quit, we got to a really cool chapter late in this campaign, so like 2 years or almost 2 years into it, where the characters were very, very high level, and we started doing these adventures that were just mind-blowingly different, going to other planes and epic level challenges, and culminating with a big battle against Orcus, the Demon Lord. It was an incredible finale, and the last, few adventures leading up to that finale were really interesting and amazing, and even I would say some of the best adventures I had ever ran at that point, and maybe that I've ever even ran, period. And it was only because of staying committed during the low point that we were able to get through that valley and reach the greater peak on the other side. In The Lord of the Rings, there are points in which the ring bearers almost give up, where Frodo almost gives up. And really, I would say there are points where Frodo does give up or just kind of collapses from exhaustion or, having been drained by the fell power of the ring and Sauron, and Sam carries him through. It's because of Sam at certain moments that Frodo even makes it through and the whole endeavor succeeds. And because they didn't give up at the low points, we do reach the amazing conclusion. Imagine if Lord of the Rings had petered out, if the author had just kind of lost his mojo or not been fully committed, and Tolkien just didn't finish the story. That would be terrible. We would be missing something from our lives, I feel. Our culture would be missing something. So when you reach that low point in your RPG campaign, and this probably could be applicable to many other parts of your life as well, here's what I suggest. Go take a walk. Go take a nice, long walk. No distractions, put your phone on silent, just walk and just be with the spirit of that campaign. Be with the spirit of the story, the world, the characters, just all of it. Just be with it. Just let the thoughts come and go as they will. Don't try to control it. It's like you're slow cooking a stew. Just go out and simmer with it. Just brew, just ruminate on it. Throughout a walk. You'll get to a certain point in the walk where you'll want to sit down and reflect, or maybe stand and reflect. You'll have a pause for reflection moment. And you'll need to make a decision. And this is a decision that you have to make. You need to decide, is this worth it? What I'm contributing to the players and what they're contributing to me, and, the value of this story and this world and all the things that's involved. Is it worth it? Does it have meaning? Does it have enough value? Or is it going somewhere that's going to ultimately give us a payoff and give us enough reward and value in the end? Is it something where if we don't finish it, later we're going to look back and regret, the same way that I look back on the Dungeon of Drosnot and I regret that I never finished that, and it kind of eats at me. It's a physical sensation that you will feel. Imagine yourself in the future having never completed this campaign, D&D or whatever the RPG is. Do you feel that gnawing feeling of regret, that gnawing sense of, it's almost a despair, like something in you is breaking down or longing or crumbling? It's a negative feeling. Or maybe you feel like a pang, right? Like an emotional pang, something that's almost a punch or a blow or a stab where it's like, no. So if you perceive that there is value, that this campaign's going somewhere, that it has meaning to it, and that you will regret if you give up on it, then do not give up. Go and talk to your players. Well, first you're going to make the decision by yourself, and then later you're going to go talk to the players. You have to make a decision. I am committed to this. Maybe I don't feel the hot inspiration and the excitement that I felt in the beginning. But what I do feel is this like strong, enduring determination to keep going and see it through to the end. And when you do get to the end of it, and it was something that was valuable, you are going to feel a tremendous sense of reward. And you're going to gain something from it. You're going to learn something from it as a game master, as a player, as a creator, as just a human being. There's going to be something in it that you will have gained, some lesson, some addition to you as a character, right? To your character as a person. And you'll be able to look back and reflect on it, and you'll be glad for that, and you will have enriched your life and other people's lives because of it. So again, this is if you determine the endeavor has true value to it. You've got these two motivators. One is, I'm going to reach the end point, and it's going to be amazing and contribute something to me and to the players, and we're going to be able to look back on this and be able to have fond memories, great memories. And at the same time, I'm also not going to be living with the regret, the pain, right? The regret's a pain. I'm not going to be living with that pain of having given up on something that I shouldn't have given up on. When things are at a low point, when things are tough, when things are at maybe a bit of a lull or kind of like the humdrums of the middle, it can be hard. It can be hard not feeling that hot, fiery, passionate, exciting inspiration at that moment. And that's okay. That's life. That's part of life. That's part of the human experience. There's nothing really innately bad or wrong about that. And I guarantee that if this is a valuable campaign or whatever your project is, if you really believe at what's at the heart of it, after that lull, and once you get over that next hump, after you get over that funk, on the other side, there's going to be something very, very valuable, and you will be so glad that you did not give up. So it's a decision that you make. It's a commitment that you make. You have to consciously make that choice. Say it in your head. Say it out loud if you need. Make the actual choice. It's something that has to be through your own free will, your own genuine will, your own agency. I am choosing this. I am committed to it. I'm going to see this through to the conclusion. I'm not going to give up. And you'd use whatever discipline you have to get through it, even if it's tough, or it might even be a little bit painful or kind of rocky to get through some bits. You make that decision, you stick it out, and you see it through. It reminds me of an expression that I heard once that really stuck with me, and I don't know who actually came up with this. According to Sage Google, this is attributed to Jim Rohn. I'm not actually personally familiar with him, but I heard this phrase. Discipline weighs pounds. Regret weighs tons. I've also heard it phrased, the pain of discipline weighs pounds, and the pain of regret weighs tons. You're going to bear a burden either way. You're going to be making sacrifices either way. So which one do you want? Do you want the pain of discipline or the weight of discipline that is hard, though it's temporary, and then it's going to lead to something great in the end? Or do you want the pain of regret or the weight of regret? And that's going to continue on and on and on a long scale. If you don't ever resolve it, that will continue on forever. So I'll wrap it up there. Thanks, guys. I hope that was helpful for you. I wish you fantastic campaigns and creative projects. And as always, may your adventures be many.